Shadovic fires off the Leaf Blade, looking to remove Swampert from the field of play. Down goes Swampert, out comes Charizard. Vic with new lightning fast pace and already the Sludge Bomb. Does the opponent respect the damage? Welcome to Season 23 of the Go Battle League. This season looks phenomenal. Most people are super hyped about the bug buff, myself included. However, when I saw the news that Acid is now a Shadow Claw clone, I thought, my, I need to put some poison types to work. So today we're featuring not one, but two of the new buffed Acid users in the Open Great League. The first of these poison types is going to be the former Degen King, Shadow Victreebel. If you look on the screen, look what Acid does for this Pokemon. A Pokemon back in the day that used to take 18 turns, 18 to get to the Leaf Blade, can now actually reach 2 Leaf Blades in that time, as it alternates between 10 and 8 turns, which is just ridiculous. Acid also allows Victreebel to actually reach the Sludge Bomb. For those of you that run the Degen moveset of Razor Leaf, you'd probably go an entire day of battles without ever throwing a Sludge Bomb because it was so bloody slow. It now only takes 12 turns, which is crazy. The next of our featured poison types is going to be Shadow Tentacruel, and it's much of the same story. Pacing is greatly improved. Acid now allows Tentacruel to pace the same speed to them skulls as Wish Steady Cash. Tentacruel can run Poison Sting, but I think Acid is the perfect combination of fast move pressure and the ability to reach them hard hitting nukes. Now we can generate energy. Acid Spray is no longer here and we're running that Hail Mary Sludge Wave. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, leading the line for us today is going to be my trusty rank 1 Shadow Sableye in a classic Dark Double Poison strategy. We see Scrafty in the lead. Not actually the worst matchup for us. However, I've got 2 poison types in the back and we're on an ABB team. We save switch into Tentacruel and manage to bait out something Victreebel does not want to see in the form of Jirachi. Looks like my opponent also a fan of these buffed Pokemon, as Doom Desire this season does do 5 additional damage. We're able to force ourselves an early shield advantage. I'm going to send out Sableye. And I actually think to myself, should I just fully Shadow Claw farm down? And I think that's certainly the play. As if Scrafty wants that work, we've got Dazzling Gleam that's going to be double super effective. The opponent recognises they're going to get farmed down, send out Azumarill. I'm going to fire off the Dazzling Gleam, putting them into Leaf Blade range, but the opponent actually chooses to vest their final protection. This makes my life easy. If they didn't shield, I would have fired off the Leaf Blade first, but now I can just shield the Ice Beam. We're going to farm up, ensuring we've got 2 charge moves good to go. The first Leaf Blade, ridiculous damage. Azumarill, you sir might think you're thick, but Victreebel says not thick enough. Jirachi re-enters the arena. We fire off 1 Acid and the Leaf Blade, meaning that confusion damage does not register, just Scrafty remains. Victreebel running absolutely rampant in game number 1. Already the next Leaf Blade. The spam is ridiculous. Even I was getting bamboozled by this thing, and I was the one bloody running it. We're all so used to Victreebel being an absolute degen merchant. It's kind of crazy. Even running it myself, I'll be honest, I was like, what is going on? We reach the Dazzling Gleam, hit no bubbles, and take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Jellicent in the lead position. The opponent interestingly opted in for Bobble. The opponent tries to catch a foul play onto Dugong. I'm going to go with some Chip and Nip action. Dugong users love to throw Icy Wind, and do you know what? I've got something that resists ice, so I'm going to farm up, try to catch the Icy Wind onto the big squid. Tentacruel's kind of mid-range bulk, to be honest. Even a Drill Run wouldn't actually knock us out. I'm not really sure if that's because they're reasonably bulky or just because Dugong hits like a wet noodle. The opponent actually YOLO the Drill Run rather than the Icy Wind. Tentacruel unfazed, gonna fire 4 Acids and the Sludge Wave. The question is this enough to knock out at -1? Unfortunately, it is not. We're unable to farm down and end in a simultaneous KO. But I don't really need switch. Both my Pokemon are going to do very well into Jellicent. You can see we're on day 1 of the season. The opponent makes a mistake, not waiting out their timer, making my decision on what to send out very, very easy. The opponent already down both protections. I'm more than happy to invest 1 on Sableye. The opponent throw the serve. Again, look to make a catch onto Greninja. A very nice catch attempt, but unfortunately they're immediately hard punished by Victreebel. The opponent fire off the Night Slash. We withstand the damage. 1 Acid and the Leaf Blade. Have no doubt Leaf Blade easily going to pick up that 1-hit KO. Jellicent re-enters the arena. It looks like the opponent's given up. They're actually still there saying, you've got me buddy, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Clodsire in the lead position. Running a double Acid backline, this is certainly where the team wants to see it. As both ground and poison do resist poison, and Clodsire is one of the bulkiest mon in the format. I'm going to strike first, firing off the foul play, obtaining myself an early shield advantage. We do survive any one move. The opponent's going to be forced to double throw as the poison stings aren't doing much of anything. I'm then going to farm up, trap the opponent into the CMP so they do not win. This foul play won't be lethal, but the one after this certainly will, so I'm happy to play out the 1 shield scenario. So we invest the Protect Shield on the Stone Edge. I'm again going to overfarm, fire off the Foul Play, and look to remove this Clodsire from the field of play. Is the opponent going to go all in on Clodsire? They are not. Down goes Clodsire, and out comes Pidgeot. I instantly pivot into Tentacruel. That might be a decision I live to regret. As we're now going to line our Victreebel against Pidgeot, which is an absolutely atrocious matchup. Tentacruel able to force the final Protect Shield of this Charger Bug. The opponent fire off the Discharge. We withstand the damage, but unfortunately unable to reach another Scald. This looks tough. I wait out my timer, send in Victreebel, and the opponent instant throw. Potentially thinking Sableye re-enter the arena, so I call it's going to be a Discharge. Back out comes Pidgeot. I fire off one Acid, transfer the Gust onto Sableye. We're able to reach the Foul Play. Foul Play gets the opponent below half health, and I'm praying that they don't have Feather Dance. Please no Feather Dance. I'm going to invest a Protect Shield. Oh man, we're now double debuffed. I'm going to throw one Acid and the Leaf Blade. Despite being double debuffed, Leaf Blade will be removing them from the field of play. The question now becomes, is Victreebel hitting hard enough at -2 to remove Charger Bug from the field of play? Sludge Bomb? Who was worried? I was, but Victreebel is able to get us over the line. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see our old nemesis, the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death. I think this season, if you're going to use Shadow Sableye, Power Gem will probably be preferred. There's plenty of bugs and plenty of fire types looking to counter them bugs, so Power Gem does make sense. Of course, on day 1 of the season, I ain't wasting TMs on a Pokemon. I've already got built, so we're just running Gleam because I already had the move. We shield up the Flame Charge, fire off 2 Shadow Claws and the Foul Play. We then throw 2 Shadow Claws and look to catch the Flame Charge onto Tentacruel where it will be resisted damage. The boosted Flame Charge doesn't do much of anything. However, Tentacruel gets hard punished by Jellicent. However, the opponent doesn't even build up to the Shadow Ball. Bubble Beam, come on. As if this matchup wasn't miserable enough already. The opponent debuffs my attack when I can only hit for resisted damage, but Tentacruel, undeterred, gonna fire off as many Skulls as I physically can. The opponent tanks too, and despite being debuffed, Tentacruel gets Jellicent into the red health range. The opponent then YOLO the Shadow Ball, removing me from the field of play. I send out Vic. We farm up, look to catch the Bubble Beam, back onto Sableye. Was it necessary? Not really. Bubble Beam wouldn't have done much of anything. We're going to use Sableye as the third shield and give our Victreebel all the screen time it can get. It looks like here the opponent's given up. However, what you're going to see is the opponent's actually still in the game. They kind of caught me sleeping here. They send out Talonflame, Incinerate, Farm Down, have a trainer. I'm only 1 off the Sludge. Have no doubt your fire type is going to be knocked out by Victreebel. Sludge Bomb, massive overkill, and out comes Ferrothorn. If the opponent even farmed up to the Flash Cannon, I would be respecting it as there's no reason not to. But the opponent doesn't farm up to it, then fire off the Acid Spray. What is going on with these movesets? We're going to fire off the Sludge Bomb. That is single resisted. He can easily see that 2 will pick up the knockout. I'm going to shield up wherever they throw. Likely another Acid Spray. Do I care? Absolutely not, as Victreebel will be claiming yet another victim. A Sludge Bomb is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle. It's day 1 of the season, and we've already got our first Azumarill sighting, although this team is very, very good into Azumarill. I'm going to take this opportunity to farm up a boatload of energy, try my luck at catching a player off onto the big squid. My catch attempt unsuccessful, but the opponent is dumping energy. Not really sure on that play, but it becomes very apparent the opponent hasn't got a great Tentacruel answer, as out comes Typhlosion. Typhlosion going to be putting up that Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Scald. The opponent then trapped me into the CMP type, but that's fine for me. They're at double Thunder Punch here. So I'm going to throw 2 Shadow Claws and look to knock them out. If they throw instant, it can just be a Thunder Punch that I ain't respecting for shit. We fire off 2 Shadow Claws and the Foul Play. Down goes Typhlosion. Switch timers are misaligned, so I send out Victreebel and look to start getting head on energy. Of course, Ice Beam would be super effective, and Vic is insanely glassy. The opponent sends out Talonflame. We're YOLOing it. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Monstrous damage. Can we Acid Farm down? No, we can't, but we end up in a Simul KO. I've got a huge energy lead. Back out comes Azumarill. We YOLO the Dazzling Gleam, guarantee the shield or the knockout. The opponent looks to call the bait, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Shadow Scizor in the lead position, a Pokemon I cannot wait to try myself. We're going to farm up, catch the Night Slash onto the big squid. Night Slash actually does quite a lot because Scizor has a monstrous attack stat. The opponent stay in before sending out Swampert. Swampert going to be greeted with the Scald. Scald hits for neutral and forces the first Protect Shield of the game. All my praying to the RNG gods also gets answers. We're able to force an attack drop on Swampert. Despite the attack drop, Hydro Cannon does pick up the knockout. I'm actually going to send out Victreebel here. Despite them being debuffed, I am going to shield up the Scald and then look to farm up and get residual energy good to go for whatever should come out. You might think that Scizor is going to fully wall this moveset, but Victreebel hits like a truck and Scizor is insanely glassy, so I highly doubt it returns. We overfarm, Leaf Blade removes Swampert from the field of play, and out comes Charizard. A lightning fast pace in already the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb gets no respect, Charizard straight in and straight out, back out comes Scizor. We reach the Leaf Blade. This is double resisted, but still picks up the knockout. Victreebel, you monster. GG's. Heading into the next battle, awful lead, but two very hard answers to this annoying Marshmallow in the back. I say switch into Tentacruel, baiting out Stinky Binky, aka Carbink. I guess I like to call it a bot plug. Don't ask why. Just look at it, and I'm sure you can answer that yourself. It's actually a nice spot for me to be in. Acids hit for neutral, and the Skull hits for super effective. The opponent rock thrown away, end up playing to the CMP side. They do not win, and it is all going wrong for this absolute degenerate. The opponent desperate to keep their very positive alignment, double shield here in the mid-game matchup. This is just an opportunity to Victreebel to start farming up on energy. We've already seen, even if they've got a fire type, the Victreebel simply doesn't care. A Sludge Bomb just hits everything hard. We go for the one shield. Full acid farm down, out comes Ludicolo, a complete degenerate team from this opponent, but they are so weak to poison. Sludge Bomb removes Ludi from the field of play. It's dancing away, but it was straight in and straight out. Back out comes the Marshmallow, also straight in and straight out with Victreebel, knocking out Pokemon left, right and centre. Heading into the next battle. We see Gelatin in the lead position. The opponent say switches into Fortress. The main reason I opted for Sableye over other Dark types is our sub-Ghost type in. Meaning we only take neutral from Bug, as of course Dark takes super effective while Ghost does resist. We obtain an early shield advantage. I actually thought that could only be a Sand Tomb, but the opponent already at the Rock Tomb, and I lose almost my entire Sableye. I then pivot into Tentacruel, fire off the Scald, forces the attack drop. The opponent likely throw another Rock Tomb. This can't be an Earthquake. It is a Rock Tomb. The opponent then pivots back out into Jellicent, saving Fortress on fractional HP. We've already seen that Tentacruel is fully walled here, but our pacing to these Scolds does make this somewhat of a better matchup. Again, we're going to throw one further Scald. Whilst this won't be lethal, it certainly puts him into foul play range. I remember this battle. I thought I had the foul play banked. I actually was one short. What a potato. It's only day one of the season, and classic Jamie Finn washed up battles are on display for you all to see. What am I doing? The opponent baits me then with a Surf, so I'm forced to respect the Shadow Ball. We correctly shield the Shadow Ball. I'm going to attempt to Acid Farm down. The opponent only reach a Surf. This is resisted, Vic. Don't forget that. Ouch, that still does a lot. The opponent's final Pokemon is revealed to be Diggersby. Despite Vic having a monstrous attack stat and Leaf Blade being a good move, one nowhere near comes close to knocking out. Not the best played battle, but we do like to keep some losses in to show you that even people that hit Legend regularly do play like absolute garbage sometimes. Heading into the next battle. We see Shadow and Shadow Crime with Shadow Sableye into Swampert. If you've got an attack weighted Sableye, you can win this CMP time. My rank 1 has no chance in hell. We overfarm, fire off the foul play. The opponent now receiving energy for the next Hydro Cannon. I try my luck catching it onto Tentacruel. My catch attempt unsuccessful, and out comes a Bomber Snow. Trainer, do you have a Death Wish? I waste no time, go straight for the Sludge Wave. Bang! There it is. Shout out the go. Oxford U for that quote. The opponent then sends out Trevenant. Seed Bomb hits for neutral. Can Tentacruel hang on? Yes, we can. I'm going to undertap the Scald. Scald is resisted, but all chip damage is going to be welcomed. Scald potentially puts it in a range where Victreebel can just acid farm down. Vic hits the field of play, gets the acid farm down, leaving with the Leaf Blade. Swampert re-enters the arena. Leaf Blade will be forcing the final Protect Shield. I attempt to throw the foul play, but the opponent able to win CMP. I was hoping to put all my hopes and dreams on Vic, but the opponent actually threw a Sludge Wave, which is resisted. We fire off the foul play and take that game. Heading into the next battle, we found ourselves a problem, and his name is Tinkaton. Of course, day one of the season, I just run teams for fun. They've got numerous core breakers, and this is certainly going to be our kryptonite. The opponent farms to the play rough. Of course, they bulldoze baited, and of course, I caught on something that does take super effective from ground. The opponent then sends out Jellicent. Not only have we seen a lead Pokemon we can't deal with, my Say Switch is immediately hard punished. I see a lot of people getting stressed, losing battles in the early ranks, or a lot of people trying to flex their ridiculous win rates with try-hard teams. I personally think the first few weeks of the season is all about having fun, trying out the new buff Pokemon, seeing what you like and what you don't. I really need Victreebel to be ridiculously good against whatever's in the back to have any chance of winning this game. I send out Sableye, deny Jellicent's energy, firing off the foul play, we pivot into Victreebel and out comes Gliscor. Whilst this isn't a bad matchup for us, in the 2-shield scenario, yeah, I just don't really see a win con. Perhaps if I can make a catch, we might give ourselves a fighting chance. We either need that to happen, or potentially we need the opponent to make a mistake. I throw this Leaf Blade instantly, hoping the opponent will let it go, putting all the hopes and needs on Tinkaton, but the opponent recognised this Fury Cutter damage is far too valuable. I needed my timer to pop up. It wasn't up, you can see it now is. We're just short. I'm going to fire this Leaf Blade, finally moving Gliscor from the field of play, but I've got hardly any HP on either Pokemon. I attempt to catch a Bulldoze onto Sableye. The opponent doesn't throw instantly. Fire off the play rough, picking up that one-hit KO. They're already at the Bulldoze. Bulldoze will remove Victreebel from the field of play, and we do take a defeat. GG's that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see Primeape in the lead position. We can tank any one move. Close combat, despite being single resisted, would do more than the Rage Fist. The opponent just throw the Rage Fist. We're going to farm to Gleam. I don't often bait, but Primeape essentially shields everything. Force protection with the foul play. Look to catch the next Rage Fist onto Tentacruel. We don't make the catch. The opponent does opt to throw a boosted Rage Fist, but Tentacruel easily withstands that damage. The opponent then sends out Morpeko. Morpeko going to be greeted with the Scold. Scold forces the final Protect Shield. Opponent goes straight for a Psychic Fangs. Morpeko hits like a truck, so despite Psychic Fangs not getting same type attack bonus, it will remove me from the field of play. I send back out Sableye. The opponent does me a huge favour, not farming into the Aura Wheel. Psychic Fangs, double resisted, will not cut it. We're able to reach the Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam going to be moving Morpeko from the field of play, and we've got Vic with a 2-0 shield advantage. Primeape only going to reach one move. I'm going to value health here. Shouldn't shield the first Rage Fist, but Victreebel kind of needs to shield everything. The opponent then sends out Greninja. We all know how this one's going to end. Hi Greninja, bye Greninja. We acid farm down Primeape and take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Cradilly in the lead position. So if you're Sableye here, you can throw this foul play instantly. It would be suboptimal timing. We do get it off before the opponent inevitably debuffs us. Instead, I'm just going to bank this energy and send out the big squid. Ideally here, I would have loved the opponent to switch out into their best poison type counter, but instead they stay in, fire off the Rock Tomb, debuff on my attack. However, thankfully, Drapion hits the field of play, which is something Victreebel certainly doesn't want to see. The Scold debuff still does decent damage, putting Drapion below half health. The opponent throws the Crunch instantly, and Crunch will remove me from the field of play. My Sableye is already severely chipped, so I'm just going to throw 3 Shadow Claws before the opponent can fire off an Aqua Tail at me. Foul play, despite being resisted, will knock out unless the opponent shields. The opponent saving 2 shields. Back out comes Cradilly, 1 Shadow Claw and the foul play. I was really surprised the opponent didn't shield this. However, I'm not complaining. We're able to outpace to the next foul play. Foul play will knock out all Force of Protect Shield. The opponent invests that Protect Shield, then pivot out into Jumpluff, and here comes Vic. In seasons gone, this would be an atrocious matchup for us, but let's see what Vic can do. We're going to shield up the Aerial Ace. I think it's too risky to bait. If the opponent calls a Leaf Blade, it could be detrimental to me. I full send the Sludge Bomb. To be honest, potentially Leaf Blade into an Acid Farm down. But I don't bait. Can we outpace the next Sludge Bomb? We're able to reach it on the charge attack priority. Victreebel is a Jumpluff counter confirmed. You heard it here first. Back out comes Cradilly. They've got the Rock Tomb banked. Rock Tomb simply doesn't get the job done. Vic Acid Farms down, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Pidgeot in the lead position. Despite them being a normal type, double resist on my quick move, I'm obliged to stay in, as Victreebel doesn't fancy this work either. Despite running an ABB team, I'm just going to sack my lead here. Opponent is going to need to Brave Bird to knock out. Air Cutter doesn't get the job done. We're able to reach one further foul play, and we're actually going to force ourselves a shield advantage in an atrocious matchup, which is best case scenario. Of course, now we're going to send out Tentacruel, as the Gust only hit for neutral as opposed to massive super effective on Victreebel. The opponent farms the Brave Bird, we get baited with the Air Cutter, but the opponent's only going to reach an Air Cutter, so I think that was a safe shield. Air Cutter does some decent neutral damage. The opponent then sends out Diggersby. I'm going to fire off the Scold. With our new pacing, we're actually going to outpace to the second skull before the opponent reached that Scorching Sand. And I think at this point, I just need to pivot out, as I can't give this Diggersby too much of an energy. We pivot at the same time. We send out Victreebel, the opponent sends out Annihilate, Shadow on Shadow Crime, Leaf Blade, a 35 energy move, but Annihilate straight in and straight out Diggersby, looking for the double up. But now I can shield. I'm receiving the energy for the Leaf Blade. Diggersby, you sir, will not be winning CMP, and Victreebel claims yet another victim. Honestly, this Pokemon is savage. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we play the first Legend of Season 23. That, of course, is a joke. The opponent clearly didn't finish their set last season, so when they queue up this season, they're obliged to finish it. We see a great lead, Sableye into Skeleurge. The opponent sends out Stunfisk. I'm going to Chip and Dip here, because one Leaf Blade won't be lethal, and the acids are resisted. Although, as I say that, they don't look all that resisted, so I think the better play, in hindsight, would have been actually to bank that energy. But, of course, I didn't know that at the time. You now know. And I guess it's learning for us all. When I played this battle out, I thought we're only going to give the opponent one, maybe two Incinerates, but actually on Hex. Oh boy, the opponent going to get a massive farm down. I think here I should always send out Tentacruel. However, we send out Sableye, and I definitely think I should shield this as well. Blast Burn almost picks up the one hit KO. Another classic Jamie Finn potato play. On day one of the season, you love to see it. Out comes Gliscopod. Despite Tentacruel fully walling this moveset, they do have a pacing advantage, taking only 10 turns to each of their charge moves, whereas we're 14 at 12. I have two shields, and I really need to start shielding something, so we're going to shield up this resisted move, which kind of feels bad. But at this point, what choice do I have? Tentacruel going to fire off one further Scald. We've acid them into a range where Scald would pick up the knockout. We're then able to make the catch back onto Sableye, giving ourselves a fighting chance and getting ourselves back in the game. The opponent combo into Skeleurge. We try and fire off the Scald, but Hex, energy generation far too quick. The opponent able to trap me into the CMP tie. Can we acid farm Gliscopod down before they reach another charge move? We cannot. Very well played from the opponent, poorly played from me, but it is what it is. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the final battle of today's Shoutcast, we see Corviknight in the lead position. Pretty much where the team wants to see it, to be honest, as the acid would be resisted or double resisted by their seal subtyping. We're going to shield up the Iron Head. The opponent then pivots out into Corsola. Interesting to send out your Ghost into my loaded Ghost. Not complaining. I fire off the first foul play, one further Shadow Claw, and the next foul play. I'm then going to one and look to catch the Nightshade onto Tentacruel. Of course, I need to preserve Sableye to deal with that Corviknight later. We actually caught a Power Gem. I'm not sure why you'd Power Gem and not Nightshade, but it is what it is. I attempt to throw on the CMP tie, but the opponent takes the extra Astonish. Scald isn't lethal, and we don't get the attack drop either. I can't leave Vic without a shield, so I'm obliged to tank this move. Nightshade isn't lethal. Tentacruel able to acid farm down, leaving minimal farm for the returning Corviknight. Switch time is arm missiles. I'm going to wait on my clock before sending Sableye back into the arena. We're going to overfarm, fire off the foul play. Foul play, it won't be lethal, but we'll put it in a range where Victreebel can handle Corviknight. Sableye, I salute you, buddy. Thank you very much for your contribution. Hopefully Victreebel can carry us home. I send out Victreebel, the opponent pivots out into the third, which is revealed to be Gliscopod. And this is game over. The acids, easing to put them into Leaf Blade range. I'm going to farm up to the double. Leaf Blade hits for neutral, easy going to knock out Gliscopod. Back out comes Corviknight. This move's double resisted, but Victreebel easy going to knock out, and we take that game. GG's, and thanks for playing. And that is just about going to wrap things up. My first video of Season 23. I think you'll agree, Victreebel and Tentacruel are massively improved. I actually thought Victreebel was an absolute monster. It is so cool that this former Degen Mon now is a super spammy glass cannon, the exact style of Pokemon I love to feature. So enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to our battle submission form is down below, and as always, a huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.